37
Yeah, I
million.
remember I had a client come to me
37.
for a pre-construction penthouse once, and just out of curiosity, I Googled his name because he wasn't well, he was a Canadian, but he
Wasn't adding up, right? Yeah.
didn't live here. And sure enough, he was getting sued by a third world country for 800 and something million dollars in embezzlement of
Perfect.
government
Perfect.
funds.
Perfect. That guy. Get that guy an
You
immigration
sold him
card
3
right
units.
now.
Right.
That guy's a Canadian
Hey,
for
so
sure.
I'll give you my State View home story. Okay. I promised Darryl I would. So Jordan, you can appreciate this because pre-construction is not my thing. It's not our team's thing. We don't have a pre-construction department. There's nobody on our team who says anything about pre-construction and advertising it anyway whatsoever. But State View Homes approached us in December, right before the Christmas holidays, to say we wanted us to sell a project for them.
Mhm.
And so initially it was like, okay, what the heck are you talking to us for? And
That's what I asked you.
right. And afterwards, I realized that, this was maybe just a little bit of desperation. They wanted access to our marketing and stuff like that. I saw them marketing outside in other places a lot. So I could tell like they were really trying to push this, but it was like 5-year away freehold towns. Is that normal? Has that ever happened?
I don't really sell freehold. Historically
Okay, but
speaking,
like,
freehold
doesn't make
does not.
sense, right?
No,
No,
but
you're
what
right. The
these
build
guys
cycle
they
should
were
be quicker.
reserving, no, weren't they? They weren't even selling. They were like doing a reservation process,
Yeah,
which is not the same. What's the
Whatever.
difference,
It was
Jordan?
like years
Yeah.
away. And it was just,
Reservation in lieu of APS because we don't have the APS ready, which is actually we don't have the approvals, and
Yeah.
therefore, yeah.
Do you see that in high rise?
Some not high rise, but in some boutique buildings with small developers in Oakville and Barrie, we've seen it. Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Which I try to stay away from anything like that. Like when
I've
I go
never
on,
heard of that,
like so,
actually.
like we had this developer in Barrie, and when you go to their website, they have like their entire portfolio is two relatively small, like 30,000 square foot warehouses. They have logistics warehouses they have under management. So I told my clients, I'm like, this is, the odds of success of this project are very low. So perhaps we should have focused our attention elsewhere. But yeah, it happens. You do see it from time to time.
So let's help people with that then. So timelines are important. So if you're buying into a project, you obviously are going to research this for your clients to say, okay, they're telling you that this is going to be done in 5 years, 10 years, whatever. You have to figure out if that's a realistic timeline, if they have approvals, if they have zoning, all that type of stuff. And so in this particular project, you wouldn't have been advising anybody to buy into a freehold that was just reserving spaces in a development that may or may not even happen. That seems like it's
Yeah, that's a fair
Okay.
statement.
we might have been willing to do it.
But
I don't know.
who the
Okay.
hell
Again, we're
in
not
the-
the pre-construction guys,
But
but
who-
either way, it wasn't working out with the terms that I guess we would be willing to do, and what they were willing to do was not going to work out. But man, am I glad that didn't happen.
What end user though is like, this is great. Like, I'm going to give you my money and it's like not even tied to anything. This is perfect.
Yeah.
Where can I
No,
sign up?
investors love it, right? The longer the timeline, the better for most investors,
Mm.
obviously.
Mhm.
As long as it gets built, that being the key phrase, right?
What's the longest timeline in the city of Toronto, like right now, that people are pitching? Like, is it 2028 now? Like what, 2030?
Yeah,
What?
28. But I mean, like, look, you can look at some buildings that have like marketed occupancy dates and look at what they're actually building and go, okay, like it's probably going to be late. And so some investors actually like that. Like, you have the thing is with Terrion, like you can move your occupancy date into the future without offering people a way out of their contract, but you cannot move it backwards, right? So nobody wants to advertise 26 and deliver late 25 because they've just given every purchaser a way out of the contract. But if you advertise 26 and you deliver in 28, it's all gravy. There's no worries, right?
Yeah.
So
a few old ladies maybe moving from a big house who have to wait a little bit longer for their penthouse with the south exposure.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the investors are happy.
Yeah, exactly.